Hey guys, Jesse here, and welcome to part 5 in my Gunpla weathering battle damage tutorial. And in this part, we're going to be doing some mud and dirt effects, and maybe some rust. We're going to do stuff similar to this. So we've got like mud effects and stuff on the feet, and the back of the calf here has some dirt and wear and tear coming out from like sort of the duct here. Um, we won't be working on the shield that we've been working on throughout this whole tutorial series because I completely forgot I was making a tutorial series, and I just kind of worked on the mobile suit and finished it. But luckily I remembered I was making tutorial videos, and so we'll be working on this sniper rifle I have for him. This has all the techniques that we've applied so far. I just did some detailed paintings on parts of this, but that's not really necessary, and that's not part of this series anyways. So pretty much, if you followed so far, all you have to do is apply the techniques I'm about to show you onto the parts of your mobile suit, or wherever you see fit. So the places you would apply this are places like the feet and the elbows and perhaps the shoulders, and on the shield, towards the end of the shield or just around. It's supposed to simulate dirt splatters or dirt stains on the Gundam itself. So if you feel like yours is a space type or something like that, or a flight type that won't have any mud, then this entire step is completely unnecessary. My Justa, for example, has no mud or anything. He just has like some dirt effects, and you don't have to do this next step with the sponge, which I'll show you. I'll talk about a little bit later. In any case, my guy is a ground type, so I want him to have some dirt and mud and stuff like that. So what you'll be needing for this is, like I just mentioned, a sponge of some sort. This is just a sponge tool I picked up at Hobby Lobby, but you can use any old sponge, even kitchen sponges, as long as you don't use the rough side. But you need at least one with a texture similar to to this. And, this one has some kind of large holes, so I started using this. You kind of want one without larger holes. You kind of want one that's a little more compact. You'll be needing brown paint. Here's some Citadel paint that I've been using recently. Like I said, I usually use testers and stuff, but I'm trying out this stuff and I really like it. But you can use any old dark colored dirt. That'll work. Stuff like that'll work as long as it's like a mud color. If you're going for more like sand, perhaps you might want a lighter color, but the thing about sand is it doesn't usually splatter mud splatters, so you'll probably want a darker one. If you're going to do sand stains, you're going to be needing these. What these are Tamiya weathering kits. There's A, B, C, and D. D is more of kind of grass stains and stuff, so I don't have that one. A is your mud, sand, and light sand. C is like gunmetal and silver and rust, and then B is also rust and some other silver. I don't have it here because for this color of metal overall, I don't need that kind of rust. Anyways, these can be found in Hobby Lobby. I know they're Japanese, but sold in America, so they're relatively cheap. I don't remember exactly how much, but I've been using this ever since I've been doing this, and I still have quite a bit of dust, I guess. You don't need that much. This is basically to add some texture and some highlights around your piece or your mole suit, and then you're gonna need a paper towel, and that's it. So basically what we're gonna do is, you can probably guess it from the sponge, we're just gonna take some of the paint, get on there, and then just get this wet enough and just kind of dab it on parts of your piece that you feel like mud would splatter. So this is a sniper rifle, obviously. So I feel like I have mud and dirt on the mobile suit's hands, so probably I'd do places like here, where he'll be holding it, and perhaps the handle, and maybe the butt of the rifle. So you don't want to go too mad crazy. For example, I kind of like the detail I did on these little chain thingies. So I don't know if I really want to put dirt there, but just kind of dirt where you feel is appropriate. So let me just shake this up a little bit. And my sponge here is a little dry, so depending on the kind of paint you've used, you want to kind of thin it out from your sponge. So this is acrylic, so I just ran this under water a little bit, and it's better. But if it's too dry, it won't get the sponge texture. So usually I pour this out or something, but I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna dip my sponge in there. Then here's my paper towel. So I'm gonna take my sponge and just gonna get in there. Didn't get enough. Oh, kind of got too much. That'll last me the whole rifle then. And so I'm just gonna take that and just dab it on here until it's sort of dry, because if you put too much, it'll be too caked on there. If you're going for like a lot of mud, perhaps you might want that, but I couldn't imagine you need that much. So I'm just gonna dab on here a bit. Around the edges is always a good place to do it. You want to kind of get a texture or a pattern similar. Sorry, the camera's shaking a bit. There we go. Similar to that. Do the other side. Like that. And now the handle. Sorry, I did that off camera. Yeah, this part of my sponge is a little dry, so can see that? Let me I need to take this off camera real quick. I couldn't see the handle very well through the viewfinder. So there is pretty much all I really want to do to this rifle. Looking at it now, actually I am going to stain that. So after you've done that, you're just going to have to let it dry. So I'm going to let this dry for a second, and then we'll be back with the next step. Okay, so now my paint's dry, and after you're done doing this to all the parts on your mobile suit, weapons, mobile suit, just every part, you're pretty much done with painting, except if you don't have this for this next step, and you have no way of getting it, but you still have paint, what you could do is you could use a lighter shade of brown. It doesn't have to be anything particular, it just has to be lighter than this, and dry brush on with this technique. Pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to use sand, and we're just going to highlight on the edges of where the mud is, and that's to sort of give the illusion that like there's sand mixed in with the mud. So this is mainly texturing. Like I said, if you don't have this, you can just dry brush on the edges with a lighter shade of brown or beige. So we're gonna do that right now. This is sort of like makeup, and if you don't have experience with makeup, I don't blame you. I don't use makeup, but my girlfriend does, so when we were doing this car, she knew immediately what to do. I had no idea what to do, but you know, she taught me. So anyways, this is like a little applicator that comes with it, and if you're a girl and you're watching this, and or a guy, I'm not gonna be sexist, and you have one of these sort of applicators, I would say use that instead if you have like a spare one, because this thing kind of sucks. But this is the one that comes with. Basically, you're gonna get some of this dust or dirt stuff, and you're gonna just rub it on there, and then you're gonna use the brush part to kind of wipe off the excess. This thing's just, the thing that sucks about this is this little applicator thing is really sensitive and tears up easy. Also, what you want to do is take scissors or a toothpick or a paper clip or an X-Acto knife and break up this sort of foundation stuff. So as you can see, it's already sort of rubbing up for me since I've used this so much, but you're gonna kind of just rub it along there till you get a good amount on there. Take your piece, focus on said piece with camera, and just rub on. Then you can kind of see, it's hard to see through the camera, but in real life it looks like there's variation in the color, and that's always better and looks more realistic. And you can kind of wipe it over, but you mainly want to do it on the edges. Then you just whoop, 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 and it's as easy as that, and it makes it look really good. So take that. You don't have to do all your dirt, but you want to get a majority of it. Kind of lightly get the edges with it. You can always go back for more if you feel that you've used up quite a bit. Again, this part isn't necessary, but I think it has a good diversity in color and texture to a kit, and it can kind of make, you know, it turns a kit that looks like it's just been painted to like one that actually has some texture, like it really has dirt on it rather than just brown paint on it. It's all a matter of opinion, but my opinion is this looks good. So kind of get that all around. That's that for that pretty much. That's as well as that for the dirt. Now you can, it's completely up to you whether or not you use, sorry, shake the camera, but it's completely whether or not you use the darker, the lighter, or even the darkest. I will say the darkest, you're gonna have you either need a even darker shade or a lighter shade. It'll kind of work either way. But when it comes to mud and dirt and stuff, this sort of shows up better on darker parts of the kit. Like lighter shades of brown will show up better on darker parts of the kit, and vice versa. So lighter shades of brown will show up better. I'm sorry, darker shades of brown will show up better on lighter parts of the kit. So keep that in mind, and when you're choosing the sort of paint you want to put mud and stuff on. But we all know mud is generally a very dark brown. So moving on, we're gonna do some rust effects as well, just for fun. I mean, you just play around with these. I mean, again, this is just like foundation, so if you don't like what you see, you can take your finger or something and just literally rub it off, and I'll show you a way to prevent that from happening, because you'll want this to stay. But again, if you don't like what you see, you can just take your finger and just rub it off, or take a moist towel or a Q-tip or something and just rub it off. But what I like this because of this orange rust stuff. If you put this on you know, near duct pipes or something on a Gundam, or near the edges of where you think like water buildup would be, yeah, it looks really good. There's a darker rust set. I have, I think it's B of these, that has darker, more brown rust, and putting that on darker areas helps. I know it sounds weird, like dark on dark, but it darkens it up even more, and it kind of gives the illusion that there's rust. So anyways, here's the applicator. So this is lighter, so you might want to do it on like silver parts. And this effect might be, sorry with the focus, this effect might be a little harder to see. I'm doing it on the magazine, or I guess technically that's a battery, right? This is a beam rifle on silver parts because it shows up better on there. And I imagine rain and stuff like that would appear more likely on these parts of the kit. I painted this scope silver. It's usually just gray, but stain it up. You'll mostly want to do rust effects on, sorry, camera never wants to focus. I mainly do rust effects on the edges of things, and sort of follow a line of where you think like water would drip down. So right. The lighter rust will work on the darker parts too, but you know, sometimes it can be so orange it just kind of looks like dirt. But you know, keep bumping the camera. Yeah, I mean, you just do what. Sorry, I'm doing a piece that's kind of off the edge. You just kind of do whatever feels right, do whatever looks right. And again, if you mess up, you just rub it off. So I've pretty much done this whole thing the way I want on camera. I don't think I really skipped any detail. See, this back part pretty rusty. Yeah, it looks good. But again, this looks really good in like the nooks and crannies of your. Let's get around the magazine or battery, whatever. Actually, let's just do some up here. So like, you know, you'd imagine some water would get caught up there. I might actually do something on my little like gold part I painted, because that looks dope when metallic parts have rust on them. Yeah, this is really like a super simple step you can take, and it makes your Gunpla look really good. And it takes almost no effort. Yeah. So, you know, after you do that, after you play around with some of these, you know, you have so many options like soot, silver. Actually, this is gunmetal and silver, and I think the B's Tamiya weathering kits has like soot and snow and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a bunch of options you have with that. So after you've done this, after you apply the Tamiya stuff, what you're going to want to do is top coat your kit. And what's top coating? It means placing a coat of protective paint over your Gundam. Spray paint in this case. I don't really think there's any other way. In any case, you have two options. You can do it limb by limb, or you know, part by part, which is what I usually do. You know, I do the legs, and then I do the waist armor, and then I do torso, head, arms, and then I assemble it all after it's all dry. I do for the weapons as well. The reason why you have to do this is because your paint will flake off eventually if you leave it without a top coat. Just water, vapor in the air, the oils in your hands, everything will just sort of rub off the paint. And this is especially true for these effects we just applied. You can just rub them off without this top coat. So right now I've started to use this Tester's lacquer, which is, it just says dull coat at the top. This is a matte finish, and you can tell by the top of the can. Matte finishes make for a more realistic looking mobile suit. You can also do a clear coat, a glossy coat for a more display piece, which is what I plan to do with my Strike Freedom. That'll give it a very, very shiny appearance, but it will protect any sort of paint or anything you've done to your Gundam at all. So my recommendation is, if you're going for realistic, do matte. If you're going for more of a display piece, do shiny. I just know that when you apply weathering and effects we just did with bullet holes and energy blasts and dirt, matte will make it look better. I don't think I've ever done a shiny glossy coat on something with battle damage, but I couldn't imagine it looks very good, just because dirt and battle scars are generally rough, meaning you'd have a rough looking Gundam in the end. Anyways, my suggestion for spray cans to use, this Tester's dull coat lacquer is okay. It works just as fine, but what I really like is this stuff right here, which is going to be huge because it's a huge can. It's called Treehouse Studios clear acrylic, and it's just matte coating. You can pick this up at Hobby Lobby for relatively cheap, and you get a huge can of it. And like this stuff, let me tell you, it lets you, it has such a large room for error. It's kind of ridiculous. You can spray on like heavy coats of this stuff, and your Gundam will have a very thin coat of matte. I'm not exactly sure if it dries thinly or something, but yeah, I've caked it on by accident before, and my Gundam has come out looking just fine with the matte coating. You don't want to cake it on. You want to do short. I can't really do a demonstration because I don't have a good place to really show it. Maybe I'll make a video later on when I do. But all you have to do is take your piece and just go from about 30 centimeters away, and then just on all sides go and then spin it around, and then let it to dry. These spray paints dry relatively quickly. They'll dry in about 20 minutes. So after about 20 minutes, you can pick it up with your hand, your bare hands, and just inspect it and make sure it might need another coat. Do the coats very thinly. If you look at the piece as you're spraying it, and it's got a good layer of wet, and it's good. You don't need to keep spraying it. I personally just hold the piece. I've started to use gloves. I used to not use gloves, but I don't know, I kind of was tired of getting my hands kind of sticky and wet and stuff. So it's up to you. Some people like to put their pieces on the end of a stick and so that they can spin the stick around and get all the angles. Again, it's up to you guys. So that's pretty much it for the tutorial. The only other notes I wanted to make was when you're staining your Gunpla with the weathering kits, make sure to get like the ducts and the openings of your mobile suit. So for example, here on the feet, you can kind of see that right where this ankle armor is, there's a big stain there. That's because there's a big opening here, and I would imagine dirt and stuff will come out of there. And for the sponge, I mentioned that to clean your sponge with whatever thinner your paint needs, I'd say take that with a grain of salt. I know water is safe on a sponge. I have no idea if mineral spirits is safe on a sponge, or even like paint thinner is safe on a sponge. But I have done this with enamel, the mud effects with enamel paints, and it works just fine. I just had to kind of dispose of the sponges because at that time I just didn't clean my sponges. I just had like a big pile that I cut up and I was able to just dispose of them. But I kind of wanted to get into the idea of buying something once and using it over and over again. So that ends it for this whole tutorial series. I might have future tutorials on detail painting and spray painting, repainting runners and stuff like that, because I currently have a MG Strike Freedom, that the gold frame is not gold and it needs to be gold. So I'll be repainting that. And I'll make future videos on some of my customs. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.